Hello everybody and welcome to day 30. It is nearly the end of, I have done nearly 31 backgrounds. I am so chuffed with myself. And today we're going to have coffee. I have a mini espresso. I have a larger espresso and a normal coffee sat right here. My desk smells amazing. So I've drawn us up a little treasure map, just a little fun treasure map. And what I'm going to do, if I've got the right pen, I think I may have lost it somewhere along the line. It has gone walking. Gone on a lot of walkies. Try this one. I only want to see the lines. I think this is even smaller. Bless me. Excuse me, I'm very sorry about that. As you know, I'm not editing these videos, so there is no professionalism whatsoever within these videos right now, and I've found the one I want. Okay, so I've drew this up. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to slightly zoom in, not too much. I'm just focusing on that a little minute. That's not going to behave itself, so I'll do it manually. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw around the pencil that I've put in. I've already drew it up, basically. So it'd be quicker than trying to draw it up off the top of my head, if you get what I mean. So I've drew it up before the video started, and I must admit I have had some amazing compliments from my rain video, and I really appreciate that. Thank you everyone that has took the time to message me or featured me on Instagram or shared me in the stories, who's even attempted the rain effect. I was really proud of that one. I even showed my husband and I was showing my kids. I'm like, look at that. I was so impressed with myself. It's the little things, isn't it, you know, that get you going. So I'm just drawing over these here, just giving them kind of like, I don't even know what kind of writing this is. This is a shellarty type of old style writing, because I'm not very good at it yet. Okay, so let's give this a bit of colour to it as well. So ahoy pirates, the Caribbean Sea. The Caribbean Sea. So then I've got my little ship here that I'm going to draw in. I'm going to maybe extend some of them from what I've drawn. Gotta have the nest in there and the little thing. You can have a double nester. This one's got a double nester. And I've no idea what a thingy ship, but I have this idea that they had this, like, I've gone off, if you've noticed on here. There is things on here, and I'm not going to actually say what's on here, but if you put in the comments if you know what island I've took this from. So for the kind of ships I've took this from. So I've got Jack's Cove here. And I've got Port Royal here. Rum. Runner's Lane. Runner's Isle, so sorry. I'll just double check that. And I've got Davy Jones's and Isle de Murta. Okay, and then we've got here the land where no one must go. And then I'm going to put a little thing there. We all know what that means on a pirate map. What have we got here? Treasure chest to show David Jones's locker. Like I said, there's nothing professional about this. It's just literally a very mediocre little drawing. So we've got Shark's Ridge. Any guess why they're called that? A nice little cave in the middle there. You know, and they always have them in pirate films, don't they? They have these areas that they say don't go in. Shark Ridge. And then we're going to have down here Shipwreck. We've got Shipwreck Cove. A little half a crow's nest up there. And then it's got its little islands that you don't go because it's treacherous, or you might get your ship broken. And then we're going to go round the island that I've already drawn. Now obviously if you're doing this, you could do this in the middle of, I don't know, something in Joanna Basford's Lost Ocean. Maybe you could put this in the middle of something on there. You could put it over the top of something as though it's under the sea, and there's a little thing. You can draw your own maps. And then we're just going to put the edge in, and then the fun's going to start. But I wanted to draw my own map, and then I couldn't find a page that I wanted to go around because I got this idea off the lovely Amazon Tammy. She messaged me and showed me her picture of her map that she did around the compass, I think it is, in Enchanted Forest. I think it was. If it's not, it's in one of Joanna Basford's ones, but it definitely was a Joanna Basford book. And she's like, you've totally got to do coffee. And I was like, I am definitely doing coffee. I'm not too sure whether Tammy did coffee or whether she did just coloured pencils. I think if I remember rightly it was coloured pencils, But a lot of people do tea staining, and I just thought, I want to have a go at coffee. My desk at the minute smells amazing. Like, I just need to go and have a coffee. So what I'm going to do now, where's my little trusty, almost worn out rubber? I keep losing everything. Here it is. Tiniest little, ugliest little, just dropped a Pablo pencil, whoops, go in there. The tiniest little pencil rubber ever, but it's like my best friend. It gets everything out. So it's even screaming at me because it's nearly at the end of its life. It's like, please don't stop using me. So, like you said, you can do this in any book. You could do it around the outsides and just put your little islands in, like I've drawn around there. Really simple drawings, nothing. Whoops. What I've done there, 1 second. Where are you, number 3? None of them. Okay, where have I just put the pen? Why does it keep doing this to me? Where have I put the pen? There. Shipwreck Cove. Forgot to put the cove. Got some weird writing on there. You probably won't see that on an old treasure map. Like I said, shellarty text. So I haven't tested this out, so I don't know how well it's going to go, but I want it to look like it's been a burnt edged map, like someone's tried to get rid of it and they've blown it out. They've got X marks the spot, but I haven't put the trail to it, because that would be telling them where the treasure is, and that isn't what we want. Let me just put the X in. Got to have an X marks the spot. Here. They've got to go to the treacherous place. And I don't want to go. Okay, so let me just and in the process of that, I actually broken my technical pencil. Whoops. So I'm going to have to get a new one. Okay. You can imagine, I don't know how your colouring books would smell after a couple of days with what's its name on there, coffee, but I'll tell you in a few days what it smells like. So what I'm going to do with my normal coffee, which is just a normal brew amount of coffee, so I'm just going to pour it in here. I'm going to start adding a little bit of water from out my other palettes. Because this is just a wash. In fact, I'm just going to do it this way. Didn't want to mucky that water up. Okay, and then I'm just going to give it a wash. I'm hoping that that ink, I'm going to try it with just this. Oh, actually, the normal cup of coffee is fine. So that's what we get with this. I feel like a kid. I love it. And I've got my little air blower that I'll use in a second, because I want to dry each layer as we go. And I don't mind if bits look stained, more stained than the other, because I want it to look old. I'm just being careful around the edges. This is gonna look so cool. And I know you could get these washes with your watercolours, but why not use something that you have in the cupboard? If you don't have watercolour paints, you can just go and make a cup of coffee and that would do it. Plus it's fun to do work outside the box. Just gotta check I'm not oh, I was thinking then, is my mic on? Whoops, it was, luckily. Okay. Oh, so I just want to make sure I'm getting right on these edges here, purely because I'm going to be really darkening them up, so I want them to start off, they need to have stain on. I'm just going to go around and do them. It smells so good. And this is the bonus. You've got amazing smelling I'm going to come this way actually because I don't want to knock them cups of coffee off. So I'm going to dry that off. Hopefully it's not going to take too long. Okay. And this is just a mixed media paper. I love the colour of it already. Okay, now before I move on to the edge, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take our next darkest layer and I want to just put blobs of coffee in different areas. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold that on. I'm going to dry it in its spot too. Wanted to see if that would work, but I think I've gone in too dark with it. Let me just put that over there. Let me see if activating it with wet will bring that colour back out. Yeah. So my aim there was to wanted like darker stained spots, but I don't think it came out like I wanted it. So what I'm going to do now is put this on directly again. No, it's not thick enough. Right, so let's add a bit of this in there. And we'll add a little bit of water in. Add a little bit of water and mix it up. Oh yes. That's what we want. And I'm going to be a bit more wishy with this. Wishing it about. I'm not too worried about getting it even, because I want it to look wishy-washy. Yeah. And I'm going to do this before I start using the coffee to colour the bits on it. I want it to look wishy-washy. This is so cool. People will probably be like, the background Shell's been doing, and then today this. But why not? You could use this skin tone as well. Don't forget. I may actually have a go at that in a book before I go, depending on how long this map takes. Okay, so let's dry that off again. Don't forget that one's come after. Each layer is just going to get darker and darker and darker, but it's important to dry it off first so it sets that colour into the page. So obviously if you're using it in a colouring book, just make sure that it can take water media before you start doing it in your book. And make sure that everything is in frame so you can see what I'm mixing, but so my first, the very concentrated coffee, which is in this one, has literally got a teaspoon of coffee in and a drop of water, and just mix it into like a really thick gloop. This one is probably 2 teaspoons with a bit more water, and it's more runny, but it's thick, but it's a lot runny. You can see the consistency on there. And then that is like 1.5 spoonfuls with that much water in. So it's like having a normal coffee, really, a strong coffee. So that's the portion sizes that we're after. And then I'm going to come back in and go over it again. And we're going to keep working our way up. But this is where things will change. Because I'm just going to put it round the edge. We need it to darken up round here a lot. So first of all, let me just get a smaller brush. And I'm going to go into the edges with that now, because I want it to remain detailed, but I don't want it to go over the edge, so it might take me a little bit longer to just do this bit. And then with my flat brush, I'm just going to dip it in some clear water, and I'm just going to pull that out into the centre. The clear water, a bit like you would do with watercolour, just to soften that off. So I want the effect that it's lighter in the middle. So we're using our very strong cup of coffee one. We're not using our mini espresso just yet. We'll use that directly out from the tub when we come to painting that. I'm just going round the edge of the map with this. I actually can't wait to have a go at skin. Hopefully we'll have time, because what we're on now, 24 minutes. We'll see what time we've got time for. Because I was hoping this wouldn't take me that long. We may have to put some pencils on it, but I don't mind that. I wished I could sustain this and keep putting different kinds of backgrounds on every day of the week, like every day like I have done this month, but it's obviously not possible with my 4 children. It's been really hard work and I've had to really plan the month out to fit everything in. But I am going to continue adding different I am going to continue to add different backgrounds throughout. I'm not just going to abandon it. You can always go back to the ones that I've done in the month, but I'm going to be adding to it as I go along. Any other background ideas I come across, because I've still got a few that I need to do that I'll add to it as we go along. So white, the flat brush, and just with water, I'm just going to pull that into the middle with clear water. And I'm just going to drop water on it as well in areas because I want it to do, you see what's happening here? I want it to look like that. So pulling it out to the middle to blend it out. But then I want to drop like the water techniques we did on the watercolour paper. That's working exactly the same here. I'm nearly running out of that. Black loop as well. I'll just bring my clear water in, drag that out to the middle. Because my aim is for it to be lighter. And then just drop circles of water there. And then let's get the heat gun on there and get that dried off. I'm going to move the coffee around that's in them water bubbles as well. That'll also help with the texture that we're after. So much fun. I'm lemonade. If you love coffee, like a match made in heaven, art and coffee. Okay, so that is enough coffee on there for the actual map itself. So what I'm going to do now, once I've dried this section, I'm going to start working with our concentrated coffee. Give me a really good texture, really like that. Like we've got that all years of water stain on it now. That's what I wanted to get an effect of, as though it was years and years old and it's been out at sea and it's got water damage and then someone's tried to burn it. That's what I'm after. Yeah, the rest is enough to dry on its own. So we're just going to work now with our Hoover Strong Coffee. I'm just using a size 4 brush. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give the hills here a bit of shading. I'm going to stink of coffee. All my hands and everything. But it's fine. So I'm just going to clean that off. And then just pull it out a little bit for shading. Then I'm going to come and do the ship. I think this is just cool for like painting with coffee. It's the cheapest material you could use. You can buy a tub of coffee for what, 50p in some places. Clean my brush off again, and then we'll just fade that out. And a little birdie box. Then we've got a ship down here. Bit too much on there. My son down there's got the best laugh ever, it's funny. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with up here. These rocks, these are going to have a nice little shadow on them as well. These little ripples of the sea, some paint as well. And then just blend them out. And then we've got the jaggedy shark ones. I'm just going to make them more textured looking as the jaggedy rocks. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to line the edge of the islands. Moving around here. And then I'm going to get, once it starts running out of steam, I'm going to clean it off. Just like we do with watercolour, I'm just going to blend it out. Alright, itchy nose. That just helps the little island pop out. So carry on with the concentrated one round here. Not going to get so thick with coffee at the bottom of there. I hope I don't run out. I won't need that much of this one. Just 1 second. Just blend it out again. That's just to help that edge. Just look so that the island looks separate to the map. Went out the lines a bit there. in the water. And then we're just going to blend that out. Same. I am so loving this. I am like a big kid sometimes, mate, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I love it. So let's carry on this last little bit around this side. And then just wet it in the water and just bring it out. It's just like watercolour painting. It actually works just like watercolour painting. So that's the island popping out. I've not coloured David Jones's locker. Anyone got guesses yet as to what this is or who it's based off? I'm sure you'd all could guess. Just blend that out. Okay, so let's dry that up. It's a lot of doing and drying, and doing and drying. So that's pretty much where I want that. So this bit I'm going to work. Oh, I nearly ruined everything then. Catch that. Knocked it off and everything went, water went everywhere. So again, the little brush. And this time we're going to start making it like burnt around the edge because that's got enough on that bit of the building. So I'm just going to put these, and I'm not going to blend these out. I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. So it's a bit watery on top. And I want it to be quite dark. And we're just going to keep going over these areas. And if I have to, I may end up, I might use a bit of brown just to deepen that very edge up. So in some places I just want a very thin line, and then in other places we want it coming out like it's started reaching in towards the mat where it's burnt. It's going to have that thin edge. And this bit's going to come right in as though it's been burnt loads because that bit's come inwards. Might be a bit painstakingly slow, but it doesn't matter. Widen that bit out. This is just our first layer of this darker one. I'm going to have a thin layer around that shape. Then I'm going to do the whole of this dark. And it helps just leading that coffee. Just check them in frame. Just want to make sure everything's in frame before I work away, because I always sometimes end up out of frame. So down here I'm going to have a thin, because that's almost still the same straight line of the map. And then this bit's going to have burnt in. This come out here. May take a few layers because obviously it's not the strongest. I've tried to get it as strong as I could, but I don't think it's a very dark coffee, so maybe I need a even darker coffee, because I only had Milano's Americano in, and it's not a very heavy coffee, so so I'm going to pull that out in places. And probably will have to get like a black pencil on it at some parts. Where I've done that drawing, and keep it thin, will that kind of like have this bit, the burnt bit. That's really burnt in, so I'm going to bring that right into the map there. And then just slowly add it a little bit in here. And then this corner is going to be quite burnt in. Oh, a big blob on that. Straight bit of the map there, so that's just going to have a thin edge. And this bit can have quite a bit of a burnt bit here. Trying to not catch the bottom part of the map. There's a place in, I'm sure it's Mallorca in Spain, where they have a full pirate themed hotel. It's amazing. And I've always said I'd like to take the kids there. I'm just going to dry off the bit that we started first. That's the way it really goes. I'll see if pencil will go over the top of it as well in a second. Add some matte features. It's taking a while to dry this bit. Mostly because the coffee's a bit thicker. Made it feel like an old leather. It's weird. Come on, let's get dry. I wish I could speed it up, but as you know, I'm recording. I've only done a few where I've edited it, where it's been really long parts that I've needed to really speed up. But that's only been a few videos. So I want to try and keep true to myself and not have to do any editing. So if you don't want to see the drying process, you can press the settings button on the video at the top, and it has a cog that you can press video resolution. Click on that and it should allow you to either speed it up or slow it down even more. Feel free to press that button, and if you would rather zip through this bit. I think it's like really sticky coffee. It is as well. As me trying for drying, it's really sticky coffee. Like quick treacle. I do that too much because it's kind of making it look a bit funny. I'm just going to come back in with our original coffee one. It's just like our normal coffee. I'm just going to soften that edge just a tiny little bit in places. Not everywhere, but just in places where I feel I want it to look like it's faded out. It's just reactivating it a bit. It's a bit like ink tents. Once it's stuck, it's stuck. Just moving it a little bit there. Oh, this is kind of cool. I'm kind of really liking it. And I'm just going to do the test in a second with the black pencil to see if it will colour over it. But I just want to work on these edges just a little bit in places where we pull it out a little bit. Probably going to stink after a few days though, I reckon. So this is doing what I want it to. It's just breaking it up slightly. And it'll just help with that burn effect when we come to do that. It just helps give it another colour to it as well. like a burnt parchment. This was a burnt out bit as well, so I'll just pull this bit out. I keep forgetting to not, I keep start talking to myself as though you're just here in the room with me, so it's like I go a bit too quiet and I'm like, stop doing that. So I think we'll have one last dry with these up here. Let's get rid of some of these weird strange bits that have gone like gloopy coffee. But overall, it's coming out with the effect I want. And this would look cool in the middle of a colouring page, especially seascape or something like that. And all done with coffee. Where was the last bit I did here, wasn't it? I think once I've done this bit, dry it off, I'm just going to get a brown pencil. If you had darker coffee, I think you'd be able to do it with darker coffee, but I don't think, I think if I carried on going and going and going, it would eventually go as dark as I want it to. But for the purpose of the video, we don't have all night. So I'm just going to dry this off. Try the coffee on my page. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, have I got the black, geez, I think. Colour. Oh, I've got the black Prismacolor. So what I'm going to do now, I'm not touching the centre, I'm just going to come in with my black Prismacolor and go over the top of it, because I want it to look burned. So in all these areas where we've pulled it out, I'm just going to add the black to it. Any black you've got, doesn't have to be Prisma, it can be anything. But it's cool that it's actually going over the top of the coffee. Now I'm just going to add this in, all in them areas where we've added the darker bits of coffee. It's really glaring under my lights here. I would definitely use a pencil over a Posca or something like that, or a black gel pen, because you want it to look soft. I don't want it to look like it's what's its name, can't think of it. I don't want it to look too heavy. I still want it to look like the coffee stain over the pencil or black marker or something like that. And I think that's going on just fine. It's just giving it that depth that it needs. that I probably would get if I carried on with the coffee. But I've known lots of people to do tea stain, but I don't see very often coffee staining. So that's been pretty cool to do. So thank you, Tammy, for that idea on that lovely compass that you did. And I did tell her I'd feature it on one of the background videos. Again there, really burnt, sooty, burny bit. Turn it round. But does anyone remember doing this at school? Because we did, but I think we did it with tea. But I do remember staining stuff. I've done it before where we've stained knickers for my daughter does dance, and we've been at a show once where we had to stain knickers, tea stain, for make nude knickers. These bits. Right in that corner, I'm going to come right out to the centre here and then down. And give it that really burnt, smoggy look. Slick coffee here. This will either be really good and everyone's going to enjoy it, or it's going to be a right flop. It'll be a right coffee flop. I'll never look at coffee the same again. I'm going to bring this out here. Just a tiny little bit. It's not laying on that coffee, it's gone really shiny. But it's still giving a nice darkened effect where I want it to, so I'm happy with that. Being careful what I'm doing here. I think that just about does that map. That looks cool, I think. Yeah, I think I like that. I think if I quickly do a skin tone very quickly, let me see if I can find a book that I know will take water media. Okay, so that's my map. Hey, map. So that's my map with coffee stain, and I'm going to quickly, I'm sure I've got a picture in here where I could do a skin tone with the coffee. Trying to find a less dark picture. I may have to do this one. I'll do. It'll be nice actually. So this is out of my one of my Carolina. I think it's Kukasaka. I think. I'm not sure, because I was sent the name, how to pronounce the surname of Kat, but it's disappeared off my Instagram, so I can't go back and check it. But she's one of my favourite artists that's on Etsy. So this is the really light one first. So I'm just going to watch. This is the one where I've mixed. Can you see where I mixed with water? But I know this takes water medium really well. And because she's done all the hashing of the ink, we know where the shadows are going to be, you see. So I thought, oh, well, let's see. A couple of things that we can do with coffee. In the last few minutes. Because my videos have been about an hour and an hour 15 minutes. Some of them have gone on a bit longer where I've needed them to. Okay, let's just give that a nice little dry. And this book takes water medium really, really well. Really well. And I'm going to swap now to my smaller brush. I'm going to give it a clean off because it had got quite thick coffee in it. So I'm going to add a bit of water to this one, because I think this was our watered down one. And then I'm going to come in just a little bit darker where all the shadows are. All around here. Just blend it into them. Where they need to be. I've never done skin tone with any kind of water media before, so if it looks disastrous, very sorry. But this is like, I mean, come on, how cheap is a tub of coffee? You know, if you can't afford water paint, go and get the coffee or tea out of your cupboard and get it on your paper. Okay, so before I move back to my next one, I'm just going to put that in clean water and I'm just going to blend it into that lighter colour that we did. If it's gone too dry, just work on that edge and it'll blend in. I'll just pick up the colour that you was using from before and blend that into it. I just think it's so cool what you can do with it. I'm just going to keep blending that out into that as much as we can and go back in with the darker one. So I'm going to call it light medium and then medium dark, and then our egg pot is our not so light tone. It's quite dark. I'm just using this to blend these two. I'm going between the two, my darker one and my lighter one, and I'm just blending them out. So here I just want to darken that bit of a nose up. I wonder why all of a sudden, sorry if you can hear my schnauzer downstairs, it's so loud. Sounds like Chewbacca from Star Wars, it's funny. But we did name him after Kylo Ren. And my little miniature schnauzer, we named him after Darth Vader. And even his actual pedigree name is named after a Star Wars character. Okay, so that looks good. So I'm just going to dry that off. I'm only going to work on a face purely because of time. I don't want it to be a mega long video. I want it to process tonight. So next up was this one in Hourglass, wasn't it? I can't remember which one it was in there, so I'm just going to go with this one. It's giving us a really gorgeous olivey skin, I think. It looks like, if you look at it, if I pull it off the light, the light's making it look like I've not blended it properly, but I have. Okay, so before I move on to the next part, I'm just going to go back in with that lighter colour, the medium one. I'm just going to blend it out, just because I don't want it to be like in your face, deep dark lines. But for this kind of book, especially the kind of drawings that's in here, it's amazing for that. But with more practice, I'd probably get a lot better at it. It's the first time I've ever done it with coffee as a skin tone, so I'm allowed to make mistakes. Bit of my Cupid's bow just under her nose. And I'll just go back to this one, medium. I'm just going to blend that out again. Really light one now. I don't know why that light's making it look like that. I'm just blend that in a bit more. That's much better. Much better. So I don't think I'd really go to the really dark one. May do, just for the very darkest parts. But it's just an example of showing you what you can do with coffee. I'm going to go drop into this one and just blend it out again. Well, this technique has been around for many, many years, hasn't it? So probably a lot of old school artists probably still use a method like this, maybe. I don't know. Well, I've enjoyed doing it, and it's just to show you that you can do skin tone, although it being hard to blend. I'd have to definitely have a bit more practice at that. I'm just trying to stop the light from the lights making it look really unblended. I'm not the light down a little bit. But anyway, it's there, you know what I mean. Probably do it in a slower process than what I've done. I don't really want to dry it off until I finish moving it about. Cover them bits up. So, there you have it. I think, if anything, the only thing I would do out of that is just tiniest bit of the really dark one, and I would lay it under, just under the hair there. Then maybe just under here. And that would be probably about it. Just in the really darker tones, in the areas where her hair would cover. Just like that. And that is probably about all I would do. I've got a lovely tea stained desk, coffee stained desk over there. And then just pull that out with that white colour. Just like that. See? Skin tone. Ta-da! Let's dry that off again. Obviously, that is a very quick example of skin tone. I would probably work a lot more on that. So, as you can see, skin tone. Let me just move these out of the way. I'm scared of dropping that and it's staining on the carpet. So, skin tone and our map. Just pull this up so everyone can see. So I hope everybody's enjoyed my coffee stain. I've loved it. I think it's been absolutely cool. And there you have it. Just everyday coffee map that you can do in a lost ocean book, anything to do with the sea. You could do it round the edge, just that part, and that would be whatever's there. Or you could put that in the centre, and there could be fish things around it. Or you could use it for a skin tone. And the more you water it down, the lighter you can get your skin tone. So I think that is a really good example. So last one tomorrow. So I can't wait to see everybody for the last one. It's going to be funny. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, all the ones you've watched so far. This is day 30, and it's coffee. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.